In this video, we want to find the equation of a hyperbola and graph the hyperbola when given the center, focus, and vertex. So the center is at 4, -1, so we can plot that point. So 4, -1. Its focus is at 7, -1. So 7, -1, getting close to the edge of our graph here. And its vertex is at 6, -1. So we have vertex here, which tells us that we also have a vertex at, so it's 2 units away from our center. So we're going to go 2 units to the left. So 2, -1 is going to be another vertex. And then 3 units to our left is our other focus. So at 1, -1. So because all these points lie on a horizontal line, that tells us that we're dealing with a horizontal hyperbola. So this has a horizontal transverse axis. Horizontal transverse axis. Because it has a horizontal transverse axis, that means that it's going to have the x minus h quantity be the leading term. So x minus h quantity squared divided by a squared minus y minus k quantity squared divided by b squared equals 1. So let's identify the information that we know. So a, which is the distance from the center to our transverse axis vertex, is 2. B, we don't know. We don't know really anything about our conjugate axis. But we do know that C, which is the distance from the center to our focus, is 3. So we can find B by using the relationship between A, B, and C. So we know that A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. And so isolating B, so we get B squared equals C squared minus A squared, which is going to be C squared is 9, A squared is 4, so 9 minus 4, that's 5. So that means that B is going to equal the square root of 5. So we get the square root of 5 here. So now we can take all of this information and plug it into our equation. So we know our center here, so that's going to be h and k, and then we know the values of a and b, so we can plug those in. And then we can graph this. Now the square root of 5 is just a little bit more than 2. So if I go up 2 units, I'm going to be a little bit past 2 here. So it's in between 2 and 3, just a little bit more than 2. And then I can go down 2 and a little bit. So that's about rad 5 right there. So let's write the equation. So it's going to be x minus h, so h is 4. So x minus 4 quantity squared divided by a squared, so a is 2, 2 squared is 4, minus y minus k, so minus a -1 is going to be plus 1 quantity squared divided by b squared. So the square root of 5 squared is just going to be 5 equals 1. So this is going to be our equation. So now let's graph it. So we have kind of our key points here. So we can graph our hyperbola. So let's make the box. So the box is going to go through these here. So we can draw our box like this. And then down here. That's not very... Come on. There we are. Jeez. Can't get this right. There we are. And then it goes down this way and this way. And then we have asymptotes. So the asymptotes go through the corners of the box. So it's going to look something like this. This here. And then here, like this. And it's a horizontal parabola, so it's going to start at the vertex and it's going to open toward the asymptotes and get closer to the asymptotes as we open further. So something like this. So that would be a rough sketch of our hyperbola.